There it is. Hey, bud.
Hi, Christian. How are you?
Sorry. Good. These fleas are killing me.
Oh, man. They're bad this year. Yeah.
No, I just keep stuffing handfuls of them in my socks. I should probably stop doing that.
I'm gonna
Anyways,
get you a flea collar.
I already am more wearing one, but it's not on my neck. I can't raise my eyebrows. I just look like I was having a stroke. Anyways, not season 2, episode 2, season 1 of the Punk Rock Drummers podcast.
And who do we have?
I think it's Chooks, Darren Chewka of Teenage Bottlerocket, Old Wives, and King Thief. It was a great episode, man. I love the dude. It was a lot of fun talking to him for sure. And I may have met my match on the nerdiness of the drum gods here.
And you just got to go see him play too, right?
I did. He offered to get us in, and we did. It was awesome, dude. It was sick. We got to hang out a little bit before the show. Met the rest of the guys in the band. Everyone was super nice, and just kind of hung out afterwards. My wife got to see Menzingers, which was cool. She loves those dudes, and yeah, man, she's just a nice guy, man. And I hope all of you have your road maps ready, because you're probably going to get lost in his eyes. Boy, he's got them baby blues. I'm just kidding. He's like, dude, he's never going to come back for part 2 now. He's a fucking creep. But
yeah, we did talk about a part 2 with him, didn't we?
We did a lot to cover, so we got to cover those.
We barely scratched the surface with Darren.
Yeah, we got to get those thread count on those pearl boom stands.
That's right. Yeah.
Look at me just remembering the weird stuff. But
episode 2, we released episode 1 last week, Dave Mello. And here we are again. This is great.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, man. I'm looking forward to everyone hearing it. And it'll be a good one. This was still one of the first ones we did, so I think there's some little audio things here and there, but it'll get better. And I hope I don't Chris Farley, Paul McCartney this one too bad like I did in the first one. Do you remember that time you were in Operation Ivy? I was awesome, dude. I should have awesome counted that. Shit was embarrassing, but whatever, dude. We'll get better. We'll get going. And today's episode is brought to you by our sponsor,
Rhythm and Roast Coffee Company.
Not a suppository. Trust me. I tried. Burn. Yeah, you can head to Rhythm and Roast Coffee Co. at Instagram, and that's also their website. If you use the code Punk Rock Drummers, you get 10% off some delicious coffee. It's whole beans too. You get beans. You got to grind your own beans, dude.
Yeah, I've been grinding away. Mm-hmm.
It smells lovely. It really does. I think I got too used to the cheap coffee we were buying, and man, it's just it's nice to grind it and get that fresh aroma, start your day off.
I think my cup is in the dishwasher, so I would have had it out, but thank you for covering.
Scotch. Anyways, dude, let's get into it.
All right.
Yeah, buddy.
Can you hear us?
Yo.
What's up, buddy?
Hey, how's it going? How are you?
Hey. Thanks for joining us.
I'm running a little late. I got off work and had to do some shit.
That's okay. Man. That's okay. We all have stuff to do, So I'm glad we were able to figure out a time to meet.
Yeah.
How are you?
Look at all the glasses. Fucking poor vision all around.
I know. Yeah. I'm not that blind actually, but yeah, I'm
pretty blind.
Contacts a lot. Yeah.
I need to get back into contacts. That was something I did, and then I got a really gnarly eye infection from wearing contacts, and you know how that went. It was glasses from then on out.
You're supposed to wear them in your eyes, right?
I know. Yeah. I screwed up big time.
Well, dude, I know we all sort of collectively spoke on the phone, but I'm Christian and that's Matt.
Hi, Christian.
I'm Matt.
Just so you know. Yeah. But awesome, dude. I appreciate you taking the time to talk with us.
Yeah, what better way to spend a Sunday evening, right?
I know you're looking
Yeah.
around. You're like, there might be something else.
No, I'm in my kitchen, so I was like, I didn't really know where to set up the computer because I don't really have an office or anything like that. And
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, this will be fine. This
Well,
is
Christian's
good.
sitting at his drum kit, so
Yeah, what a nerd.
I know, right?
Dude, I made like a little I took an old boom stand and like mounted my iPad on it so I could just put it where my ride
Oh,
cymbal
well,
usually
there you
sits.
go.
I have all my little inspirational
Are
stuff.
you guys aware of the MacGyver percussion page? It's
Oh
something,
yeah.
that was kind of funny sometimes.
Oh, I need to check that out.
Yeah,
It's
actually
kind of funny.
I
Yeah.
don't think I've
a,
seen that.
What's it called? I can't remember what it's called.
it's just like percussion MacGyvers or something
Yeah,
like that.
percussion MacGyver page or some shit. It's
Cool.
funny.
I
I
remember
have a-
someone was asking about fixing a hole in the resonant head on the bottom of their snare the other day,
Yeah,
and I
yeah,
said,
yeah, I saw
put
that.
some clear packing tape on it, and a bunch of people liked it. I was like,
Yeah, I'm like, really? Like, Jesus. Come
I've
on.
played with holes on the top of my snare drum without any issues.
Oh yeah, I've yeah.
You know, we were all like super poor at one point, and just we just dealt with it.
Yeah.
You know, so but yeah, man. So kind of a natural occurrence. With the punk rock drummers group. Of course, there's going to be a podcast to kind of go with it, and we thought it would be fun to interview some drummers that are in the group, and just we wanted to talk about the writing process and maybe what gear you use, kind of stuff that's not really asked people, I guess, or at least drummers don't really get a whole lot of recognition. It's always those pesky singers and songwriters. We're just back there doing all the work.
I find it, it's like the gear thing. Like guys have like Gibsons and Fenders and stuff like that. Always when there's always a backlight, it's like, no, there's a drum kit there. It's the classic joke, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, don't worry. There'll be a there's a drum kit there, and it's like a freaking CB
Yeah.
kit that with like the UX heads from China still on it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I just played a show in
Anyway.
Canada last year, and it had the absolute worst cymbals. And that was my first time playing international, and they're like, you're supposed to bring your own cymbals. So I failed. I failed big time. It was like you would hit the cymbal and it would just go.
Oof.
I did that
Nothing worse.
I did that at Punk in the Park. I was like, hey, I'm going to travel so light. I didn't bring shit. I brought sticks.
Yeah.
And then the cymbals were like, okay. And then, of course, Adam Willard was watching our set. And I got all freaking panicky. And I was like, oh, shit, man. Adam Willard's watching. And, of course, I was playing a little bit heavier into the snare. Popped the bottom head. Popped it. Yeah, I was like, God damn it. Should have brought my snare. I know how to tune my shit. Like, God damn it.
Yeah. So how do you how do you deal with playing with other kits? That's something that we didn't really think about when we were preparing questions, but I mean that's a valid question. That happens to us a lot, especially like when we travel.
Dude, I'm good. My kick pedal is the only thing that I get like real finicky about. Like I could kind of make do with everything else there, and I don't know about you, but I have like a very specific way my pedal's set up, and maybe I'm spoiled, but if I can't have that, my doubles are just garbage.
I used to think that way. It's basically spring tension to me now, so I can usually adjust that. It was a big deal, I think. Last year I had a bunch of issues with DW 5000 pedals, and then I was like, I have the opportunity to kind of run through the gauntlet of gear. So I was kind of going through all that, and like all the pedals, like, if you want to get specific, by all means, if you want to be a little bit more comfortable, your specific pedal will do it. But Ray didn't bring my gear on this European run, and I ended up buying a freaking Iron Cobra 200. Like it's the cheapest of the cheap. Yeah, I rocked it. It was fine. Yeah.
What did you ultimately land on, like for like your choice of pedal?
Oh, okay. So like I'm in retail. Like I do drum retail when I'm not on the road.
Oh, awesome.
I think I literally borrowed a dozen pedals and usually it would land on a DW 5000. This time it landed on a Pro Eliminator.
Hmm.
I didn't want it. I didn't want it to be a Pro pedal. I don't know what it is with Pro, but
Are those direct or chain?
no, just a chain drive. Yeah. I tried the direct thing. I got a really good relationship with Yamaha Canada here, and they were going to give me a smoking deal on any Yamaha pedal, and I tried that fancy FP9 or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like it. I didn't like it.
Yeah, I ultimately went. I had a Iron Cobra, then I went to the Speed Cobra, and I just I got the Dynasync.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
direct, but it doesn't feel like other direct pedals I played. Like it's definitely it's in between. Like, but I like the throw adjustment on it the most. But yeah,
If I kind of with a direct drive, that would have been the one for sure.
Yeah. I like the footboard, get a little bit more room on it. But yeah, ultimately, dude, it's like get it to where you want it, set it, and just leave it. And...
Yeah. Casey from Belvedere is just south from me. He's 3 hours south, and I know he speaks highly of the Dynasonic.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. So I talked to him the other day about doing this as well. And he's such a technical drummer. And
God.
he's
probably one of the better guys out here in Western Canada, maybe if Canada.
Yeah.
He's unreal. I've been watching him for years.
Oh, me too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. When he joined the group, I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna add tons of value because he just seems to know a little bit about everything, like drum wise. He's like such a smart guy.
Yeah.
And man, he's so tight and technical with all his fills. It's like, I don't know if he just like, that's what I want to pick your brains about is how you write the song. You know, how do drummers or each drummer in different bands approach the writing process? It's something that I never hear talked about.
Yeah.
And it's always been a big interest of mine. So like whenever you guys write a song, what's the process typically for like a new song with Teenage Bottlerocket?
Bottlerocket is probably one of the most unique writing processes that have ever been in a band. Like I'm in my late 40s now, and it was always, hammered out, jam, figure out the parts then and there before going into the studio. We don't actually play the songs until we get to the blasting room.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll get a demo, and basically up until just this last record, it's basically two bands. Cody has his demos, and Cody's very proficient with GarageBand.
Mm-hmm.
Like he knows what he's doing. He knows the program. He knows how to lay out a decent drum bed. And Ray, on the other hand, will do it all live if he does it with Milo or if he does it himself. But his is all, it's all musicianship there. Like he does his own.
Okay.
So it's two different bands. Cody has this thought out demo for a song, but basically he's like, yeah, you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah.
Like he's pretty cool with me doing my thing. He's like, don't go overboard, obviously, and keep it true to form.
Sure.
But basically, you're free to kind of do what you want.
Yeah.
Ray's very specific with his parts. He's like, I've got this idea. I'll let you know if you've got a better one, but chances are you don't.
Yeah.
Rays are very concrete.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably, I would assume it's from like growing up with his brother and playing and just having someone there to have
absolutely
that. Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got free range part way, and then the other is, this is what I want you to play.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah.
I would say that's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
I would say when it comes to Ray's songs, I've never really done much more than what he said to do.
Right.
Like,
right.
Pretty laid out.
Yeah.
But like a good instance is like, for a Cody song, like Ghost Story, which is actually a Miguel song, but he gave it to Cody to kind of put together. Basically, Ghost Stories was the demo was basically just riding the floor tom. You know, I didn't mean to die. And it was just all floor tom snare. There was no shots. There was no like skip of the toms or anything like that.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh, I know exactly what I want to do here.
Well, dude, if you don't
Cody's
mind me,
like, yeah, do it, rip it.
that was one of the ones that actually I had written down was that tom groove that you do at like I think it's actually starts right at a minute in. And I think those little subtle like working the bell of the ride into it was like a really cool, unique thing because it was true to the song, but it wasn't. Yeah, I mean, you did a good job of not overdoing it.
Yeah,
You know?
it's about as me being as Trey cool as I can be.
That's what I was going to ask the inspiration for it.
It's basically those shots are all Green Day, and then even when I go into the first lead, it's the burnout, like it's the you know.
No,
Mhm.
wow.
It's all Trey cool there. Like I'm
awesome.
literally spitting his like chops.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
it's
Scattered, isn't it? Where you, with the bell, Nimrod Scattered,
yeah.
floor tom bell.
Yeah.
I
And
just
Trey
think-
Cool will always do that 1 and 2 sort of thing, like no, like, and it's just like I'm you know I revisit those Green Day albums all the time.
I'm a big
Huge
Trey Cool
Trey Cool
Trey
fan.
Cool guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's basically who I learned to play too.
yeah. Trey Cool, Dan Panic, Aaron Comet Bus.
Mm-hmm.
Those are my dudes.
I like Aaron Comet Bus. He's got that weird ride.
Yeah,
weird
he's
ride
got
groove.
the tripped over bell. Like he'll do the pattern. Like it's kind of there, but it's kind of not. You know, just like
It's really interesting, but you know, it's what makes him stand apart. You know, and
Yeah.
I think we all have that to some degree. We all have no matter what you like. Take Bill Stevenson's snare drum. It doesn't matter what band he's playing for. Lemonheads, Descendants, it always sounds the same.
yeah.
And I guess it's his technique.
I can tell when Bill's on an album.
Exactly. Exactly. There's no doubt.
Oh, there's that man has many unique footprints to put on a song. I think is the name of the track Box off that All record.
Mm-hmm.
I still like to this day I have no idea what he's doing. It's like this really strange hi-hat, kick snare pattern, and I've tried and gotten close, but yeah, I mean that guy is he's a monster for sure.
He's unique for sure. So you mentioned I noticed doing research, you guys have been recording at the Blasting Room. Can you touch on that? Like are you working with Bill or?
No, the last time the band worked with Bill was the last Brandon record, was Tales from Wyoming. But typically our producer is Andrew Berlin.
Okay.
And he kind of gets what we're doing. And I had a lot of stuff going on, in the background when we recorded this last record, this last Bottlerocket record that's coming out. And he was very forgiving. He was very like, oh man, don't worry about it. Like, I know you got a lot of stuff going on in your head. He's like, yeah, let's do another one. Let's do another take. And he was very like, Andrew's probably one of the easiest guys I've ever had to work with.
Oh, that's great.
He gets what the band's trying to do. He's done pretty much every record.
Yeah.
And I don't think I've ever heard a negative word coming out of the guy. Like
That's
he's
awesome.
never been frustrated with us. We've been dipshits in the fucking studio, just sitting there like. I was definitely struggling with one of the newer tracks, and literally I just stopped. I was just like, he's like, you know what? Go for a little walk. He's like, get out of here. Just like, just chill. Like we've got plenty of time.
Yeah.
He's like, and we really didn't. It's like, time is ticking. I can hear the cash register in the background. But he was like, no, man, just head out for a second, get your head straight. Walked out of the studio, came back, and I think it took like 2 more takes, and it was like, okay, now we got it.
Yeah,
man. Having someone who's encouraging in those situations is so much better than the guy that's kind of just like, even if there is a time restraint, to not have it like shoved in the face.
Mind you, I haven't really dealt with a lot of that. I've never had some guy like, what the fuck are you doing? Why aren't you guys prepared for it? It's just like. But Andrew's just that much better.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what, if you don't mind me asking, man, is there like a stark difference in writing with Old Lives? Is there is with Bottlerocket?
Yeah, I'm in I'm in. I'd like to say 4 projects right now. I got Old Wives going on. I got this newer project called King Thief going on, and then Bottlerocket is like a Ray Cody split, like because the writing process with those two is different.
Right.
Old Wives, when we first got going, it was a project that was kind of like this other dude that was in the band, his name was Liam. It was kind of like okay, this is it. This is our last band. We're everything that we do breaks up, and it was kind of like our we're going to do everything on this. So the first Old Wives record was actually recorded at Sonic Iguana.
Oh, really? That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was our thing. It's like, well, who are we going to record with? Well, we're going to record with Phil from Teen Idol. So when that band first started, it was basically Liam's demos. That has moved on to basically Ryan, who joined the band just before we went into the studio for that first record.
Which one was the first one again?
Seeing Hell.
Seeing Hell. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah. And then we did a split, and then we did another kind of full length / EP thing. We don't know what that really. It was called Backed in the Corner.
Yep.
And then we did 3, and then 3 was where basically Liam had to leave. Liam had his own struggles. It affected all of us, and we're like, all right. And basically, it was Ryan wrote all of that.
Wow.
And then basically, Ryan gave all the demos to me, and I wrote the drum parts to that. But basically, my game for writing things is I take your demo home. I have an electronic kit downstairs. I love that thing. I know a lot of people poo-poo it.
Oh no, they're great for inside.
Oh yeah,
great for inside, and it's not just the convenient part of it. Like you just it's 2 jacks to your interface. It's like it doesn't like jam for me nowadays is how long can my ears hold up?
Mm.
I wear earplugs, but I'm like at the end of the night, I'm like, fuck, I'm tired. And it's not just exhaustion; it's my ears.
Right.
It's just so much, and like most bands jam for 4 or 5 hours at a time. King Thief loves doing that on like Monday. Tomorrow is our King Thief night. We'll start at probably 8:30 and we'll go right to midnight, maybe further. And at the end of the night, my ears are just, I have tinnitus in both ears, 2 different frequencies. But yeah, that electronic kit of mine, it's a TD-25 by Roland, but it's the game changer for me. That's where I write all my shit. So yeah, Ryan writes the songs. He'll play guitar, bass, kind of lay it all down, put a vocal on top. Then he'll give it to me, and I'll throw it on top, and then we'll go back and forth.
So if we can step back just a little bit, because I did want to. I know I mentioned this the other day. There's and I don't want to be lazy. There's a fill that comes in about the minute mark. I think a little bit less. And it's like a snare fill, and it's pretty simple, but I noticed that you add some like pretty interesting dynamics to it. There's some ghost notes in there, which you don't really hear a lot, like on the snare drum, especially in punk music. Was that like an intentional thing? I mean, do you remember, I guess I should word it as like, did you have preloaded fills when you need to record that stuff, or was that just something that kind of happened?
Yeah, like when we went to Sonic Iguana, like we wanted to make sure, because that was the biggest thing we had like tried to do at the time, like any of us tried to do at the time. So it was definitely be prepared. I was taking a lot of lessons at the time too. So it was kind of like, oh, look what I learned last week.
That's awesome though, man.
It was like, I was taking lessons off this dude in town. He still plays. He's in like a bunch of country bands. Super rad dude, but he had all the education behind him. And he would I'd show him a song or something like that. And he's like, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, you should try something like this. And it was like, it was some kind of yes lick. That's what that is.
That's awesome.
What's a yes lick?
It was like the band Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't fucking want to play Yes. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, what the fuck? He's like, no, you just like throw it in there and see what happens,
And that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so funny. I never
Yeah.
would have. I mean, not that I listen to Yes religiously, but I never would have
It
guessed.
was, and it's
That's
like
so
just
funny.
subtle, right? It's just like the
Yeah.
little, and I was like, I'll throw it in. I don't know if anyone's going to catch it, but yeah, it's like between See You in Hell and 3, I was, I was doing 2 lessons a week with this guy.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it was just turning out to like, look what I learned, you know?
But that's
What
like,
kind of stuff did you learn from him?
My man, I've never played so much fucking pad. I do a lot of pad. I'm a big pad guy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we did lots of stick control and syncopation. We touched on the new breed. Benny Greb. Do you know who Benny Greb is?
oh yeah, yep.
So Benny Greb's got a pretty good book, and we'd play with that a little bit. And Benny Greb, he had a video and you downloaded tracks to his lesson, and we would go through that, and it was just basically just fucking with time. It wasn't like his book isn't really shop orientated. It's kind of like how you see time or how you
Gotcha.
play with it.
Yeah.
And it was a big book. Yeah, I still play with it. I was just like, yep.
Does that help you in a band like Teenage Bottlerocket? I mean, the songs are pretty, I guess I never really like those terms like Ramones core or
Yeah.
whatever. They're
Very
fast and a lot of eighth
straight.
notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, did his lessons help you with that?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was, again, you got this space and it's already predetermined because
Mhm.
again, it's this genre that you really, we're not pulling out a
2 minutes, 30 seconds about.
yeah, it's straight time, right? But how
Mhm.
you go about it is like, how do you get from 1 to 4, and
Right.
what does it look like,
Yeah.
and how many times can you manipulate that? And it's just like, yeah, it was just like you find different ways to do it, especially on this new record. A lot of people are going to be like, "This is fucking different."
Good
Oh.
though, man. That's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm happy
we
for you. Man.
really played with some stuff this time. At first listen, I think a lot of people are like, it's a Bottlerocket record. Just like, yeah, some of it is definitely our first crack of the can. Yeah.
So are you talking about like odd timings or polyrhythm type
I would
things?
say different genres,
Okay.
different. Yeah, like different. We're trying different things. We're trying to expand the band other than your typical Ramon song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
It's
all,
like kind of
all
like when Green Day
acapella?
says they're going to change their sound up, and it's like, yeah, sure you did. Yeah, it's still Green Day. Like you still like, how much can you change it to a certain point before you're like, okay, this is too fucking.
Right.
No, you
Yeah.
still need to sound like the same band. Like I
Yeah.
think
And we keep that true to that. Not every track is like, oh my god, what the fuck is this? But it's just like, yeah, no, there it is. You can't keep pumping out the same thing. You gotta change it up.
For sure. Yeah.
This is the 10th. I believe this is the 10th Bottlerocket record coming out.
Yeah.
And
Jeez.
you just can't keep doing that. You gotta kind of like keep the audience.
interested.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask. I know we spoke briefly, but wow, before we stray too far from the old wives thing, typically on recordings, like I loved all the way, like the stuff from the '90s always sounded so cool, and I'm sure there was processing, compression, maybe some effects, but I'm assuming way less samples, especially on punk rock records, than you're going to hear now. And I foot in the mouth complimented the kick drum sound on 3 as being like the perfect amount of click, but still some low end. And you told me what?
Yeah. So Old Wives 3 was recorded by our buddy here in town. His name's Greg Wright. He plays in a band called Choke. Choke's been around for about 30 years. But Greg cut his teeth in a bunch of bands growing up, and he was more of a tech guy. We recorded that record in his house at the time. It was the drum room with his living room, and he had a control room in the basement. Before you record with Greg, you have to map out your MIDI kick drum. And basically, you sit in his living room playing the whole kit. and a Nerf ball underneath your pedal that has no mallet on it.
Wow.
So his thinking behind it, I've asked him a bunch of times, and there's a couple explanations to it. It's like he finds that he gets a better performance from a drummer by leaving that track alone, because he sees it as an independent, like a dependence thing, where it's drummers fall off because there's just too many things that they think they can do, but not well. So maybe that was a shot towards my playing at the time. I don't know, but it's fine. I like the outcome of it. So basically, you walk in there and you put your headset on, and you can hear your kick, and it's beautifully sampled. You know, he'll sample it when you're there. Well, he'll get a couple notes out of it, but basically, it's a sampled kick drum.
Mm-hmm.
You play the kit on top of that.
So interesting, man. That was such a great story, dude. I was surprised to hear that was
the other explanation is the isolation of the kick drum.
Right.
That's where you get your sound from. It sounds so fucking good because there's nothing bleeding in it.
Right.
So wait, was it a sample of your kick?
I believe no. I'm gonna say no.
No, but it was like sampled from a natural. Like it wasn't digital.
Absolutely.
Oh, okay.
Absolutely.
So I'm not totally.
Yeah, well, from one of those programs, whatever the fuck he used. I don't know what it was. Maybe Steven Slade. I don't know what.
Nice.
Oh yeah, I've got that program. I can't figure it out.
Yeah, I bought some freaking weird pack through work a couple years ago, and I still haven't touched it.
I get so many emails every day from them.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of kick drum, I'm a big like kick and bass guy. Like my kick and the bass, they have to hit. They have to be the same. I mean, of course, there are times when the bass may be doing something else. I play in a band with Matt Riddle, so he tends to go off and do these little chordy things, you know, but it always still sounds good. But he and I are very like whenever we write a song, like we're very kick and bass oriented. Is that how you are too?
No. An Old Wise, yes.
Mm-hmm.
An Old Wives,
depends
yes.
on the band.
Yeah, Old Wives, yes. King Thief, yes. In Bottlerocket, the funny thing is when we play a live show, my monitor is my kick drum, both guitars, both vocals.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like the weirdest. I've never had that. I've never went on stage and like, I don't want to hear the bass. And it's got no knock towards Miguel's playing.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just that those songs are so guitar driven that I need to hear both of them.
Sure.
Yeah. And
that
the
makes
vocals
sense.
are at my cue for whatever. I'll use those as cues as well. But
yeah, that makes total sense.
I've been on stage a million times, and Miguel's like, I don't want to hear him. And Miguel's awesome. Miguel is the greatest player. But it's just like in that setting, for some reason, it just doesn't work.
Yeah, I've noticed a big progression in his like the way he's approaching playing the bass over the last couple albums. It's like a lot more octave work and stuff like that, and walking a little bit here and there.
He's a good guitar player too. No,
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm always interested in how drummers, work that bass and kick kind of angle or what they want in their monitor. That's really interesting that you said that. You said guitar and vocals. Is that correct?
Both guitars, both vocals, and my kick as loud as he can give it to me.
Yeah, I'm always like, hey, keep going up, keep going up.
Oh, and like attack. I don't want to hear the boom.
Yes.
What's his Danny from Face to Face? I learned that
Thompson.
from him. It was this. He would tell the sound guy that I want the tack.
Right.
I could give a shit about that. It's more I want to know where that kick is hitting at first.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that attack
too. He did that at Rebellion Fest a few years ago. I'm like, that's a good idea. Like, that's awesome. Yeah.
That's what this is for. Sharing ideas for other drummers.
I tend to if I'm hearing a track and putting drums to it and the vocals are already there, I've always done this like really weird thing where I tend to follow the vocals. So I'm not playing a steady kick pattern throughout the whole song. I just kind of follow, like try to line up with like the delivery of the vocals and the cadence, and it always it lends itself in a cool way. But if it gets really wordy, then I find myself having to be like put the brake on a little bit and go back to like a bit more of a pattern. But you're right about that punch, dude. We had it's not open anymore, but we had a spot near us. Great venue, tons of awesome bands, but the shape of the room was just so weird. I saw Bouncing Souls there probably like 15 years ago when McDermott was still drumming, and that's all you could hear in the crowd. They like somehow took all the click away from it.
I remember that. And it was just, I remember that coming through town, and it was the same sound. Yeah.
Oh, no one else noticed. Every drummer in the room was like, "What the fuck?" I'm sure they're like losing their shit. You know what I mean? But I'm sure there's a lot of stuff the three of us and everyone listening to this eventually is going to know that they know what we're talking about. No one else is probably going to catch it, but
yeah. And it's funny too. Like what, like Ryan and the Old Wives is probably like the best overall musician I've ever worked with.
You hear that, Cody, Ray, Miguel?
I didn't say songwriter.
I'll edit that out.
I just said musician. Yeah. Like, yeah. But on that same, like Ryan and I pretty much will write, like we wrote between the two of us, I think we pretty much wrote all the music to the last record. And then like I'm like, hey, let's sync up here. So he'll write a bass part, or I'll write a syncopated pattern, and he'll be like, oh, cool, yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. Or he'll be like, hey, this is what I'm going to do here. And so we'll do stuff like that, but that doesn't really happen with Bottlerocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think it's more like a bit of like the geographic part of it too, where like it's probably just difficult to be in a room with those dudes during the writing process?
Sure.
Yeah, like, especially like now, Miguel's out in Montreal. I'm here in Edmonton, and then Cody's in Denver, and Ray's in Wellington, just outside of Fort Collins. So, yeah, not a lot of time for practice.
Yeah, I'm in the same situation you are. My band's spread all over the place, so everything's done online, basically.
Yeah, basically, just do your fucking homework, right?
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, you've got an ear for hearing, because I mean, I've been sent songs. I did some stuff with Dave Smalley, and he sent me a guitar track and a click, and we wrote a whole album remotely that way. And I was like, well, I mean, I could hear it. I could hear the drums. If I knew when we were coming in, you know, I'd be like, hey, when do you want to come in? Okay, now I got it. Yeah. You know, but I feel like you can do that.
Very handy to have that. Yeah.
Yes, that's a good skill for drummers to have. Yeah. Oh, man, because if we don't get much, we have to get really creative and come up with something that sounds cool. And then I don't know if you do this or not, but I get really insecure about doing the same fill more than once during a song. Do you go through that?
Oh yeah, Ray really likes my gun, like my rapid gunshot rolls. I'm like, dude, we've done those, man. Like we've done a lot of those. And he's like, but it sounds so good. Like like rapid fire. Let's do this. Yeah. All right, let's do it. So there's a lot of that on his songs on the new record, but
yeah. I noticed you do like a on some of the songs too. Like change it up, put those toms in. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I try to change it up as much as you can, you know. But sometimes good old faithful wins in the final take. So
yeah, it just sounds good, you know. And
you're never gonna beat that. The big rim shotted, snare roll. Like
with a pick slide.
yeah, you can't beat it.
It sounds so good. Yeah, but see, I get like that. I'm like, man, I got to do something different. But then I start thinking about the other guys. They're doing the same thing. Yeah. You know, they're playing the same chord progression. Yeah. We're just so different being a drummer.
I think that's the thing that's super interesting about drums, though, is like if someone were to email each one of us an instrumental track with no drums, I guarantee you there's no way any of us would come up with the same part.
No.
Oh, absolutely.
There might be shared things here and there, but like that's what I think is so cool is the vibe can just change. Even just the snare drum tone just completely.
The last time I saw the Descendants, like I was watching Bill play, and he would start out of the gate pretty original to the track, But that guy's so far ahead of the fucking game right now. Like the next time he'd go through it would just be like, what the fuck was that? Like he'd
Yeah.
just like, and then like we did a tour with those guys, and it'd be like something phenomenal every night. Like it was like, what the fuck is like? You'd just be like, you'd think there's only so many ways you play on the one, but like no, you'd flip something around, and you'd just be like, Jesus Christ, that's just as cool as the fucking what he had put down on the original track.
Yeah, Bill is having the time of his life right now. I was on stage with them last time they came through Dallas, and I'm just sitting there watching him. Like he's just having the best time. He's just making stuff up, but he's making the song just so cool. It's not
a beat.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's really interesting. I love how I feel like he just feels more free and just feels good now after all the medical stuff he went through. And he's just I feel like he's just trying to make each song sound a little different each night.
Yeah.
You have fun too, man. The crowd is going to notice. Like when I'll never say, well, maybe I'll say, but I went to see a band who I was like a real big fan of, and you could just tell the singer and guitar player left shortly after that, and you could just tell that dude didn't want to be on stage. And like it's just like, dude, like try to at least phone it in a little bit. Like people paid a lot of money to see it. Like, and I think Bill doing his thing, it's awesome. We saw them. It's probably been like 8 years in Vermont, and I was with my wife, and I think she was kind of like, "Why are you like? We're the only ones that are trying to get to the side," and she had no idea because I'm like, "I'm trying to watch Bill play." Like, and she's like, "I want to watch the fucking band. Like, we get in the middle, please." But yeah, I watching that guy play. It's awesome, man. I love it. Good dude.
That's awesome.
I think I think the majority of drummers in this group are going to be highly influenced by Bill Stevenson, so he'll probably be a topic that will come up a lot in these interviews.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I still want to get that kid on there on here to talk to him. Scott, I think. The younger gentleman that just
that guy.
He does it just in his
shit.
He's got the finger thing going.
Holy fuck! God, that kid rips.
He posted something the other day and was like, I'm he introduced himself and he said, I'm an aspiring punk drummer. And I was like, I think you're not aspiring.
He's inspiring.
I think you got it, dude. You're pretty good. So I know we bounced around a little bit, Darren, but I did want to talk about Night of the Knuckleheads and the choice to go no ride cymbal at all. I thought was super interesting. And like those little flourishes you're doing, sort of building up on the hi-hat. It sounded like you were trying to find little ways to have fun, playing those songs that are a little bit more driven.
Yeah, sometimes I'll go into a mentality of, I'm not going to play a ride on this song. I'm not going to play the ride. I don't know why. I just, I'm not going to touch that. There's a new song on the new album, and I was trying to pull off the one headlight by the Wallflowers thing where there's no crashes in that song. And I was trying to pull that off. It didn't work. Like in the end there's several crashes, but I was just like, I want to try it. I want to have a song where I said, I have a one headlight song, where, not one crash was played, but, sometimes it doesn't work out that way. Knuckleheads was like, it was this song that was kind of on the back burner. It ended up one of Ray's favorite songs on Stay Rad. Basically it's just this, going out on Friday night and you're just kind of like, what am I going to do here? Like, it's just like, you got to get the listener still involved with it, because it's just kind of like, again, one of these demos where it's just eighth notes being played right throughout. And I'm like, well, how do we get from 1 to 4 again? And you just do a little 16th note, little thing on the hi-hat to get from the next note.
I love how they increased in like the complication like a little bit more as they went on. That last one, like it's a great transition in. And then I'm listening to it. I'm like, oh, here comes the ride cymbal. And like it opened the hi-hat and it just
even
worked so well. Like I wasn't
Yeah.
missing it. Like I wasn't like, oh, what, like where's
again
the
how
ride?
to play with the hats, right? Like how closed, how semi-closed, how fully open. Like let's see what we can manage without touching that.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
awesome, man.
So
Yeah, it
again,
kind of goes.
sometimes you fall into that mentality when writing something. You're just kind of like, what can I do differently this time? And it's just like you take something out of the equation. Maybe it's the best answer.
Well, what is the I'm blanking on it right now, but the Rage Against the Machine song where he's playing the ride during the verses and everyone.
Oh, Bulls on Parade.
Yeah, like I always thought that was such like an interesting choice to make. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Like I remember it's a point in time where I was like, if I'm not playing every single note on the hi-hat, like I thought that made me bad. Instead of, you know what I mean? Instead of like laying off one for a snare beat or something, that and then you watch as a Charlie Watts play where it's like that dude is click, 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 every snare hit, he's not hitting the hi-hat. And that opened up, I think, getting outside of the punk world a little bit more and realizing like you can do anything that it's cool.
Yeah, like there's no rules to the game, right? There's no right or wrong answer. It's just how you kind of what happens in the long run. That's what I kind of like about the kit, right? Like you can kind of do what you want, see what happens.
Well, that's a good transition. I did like gear. Are you using different, like what's the Old Wives compared to the Bottlerocket setup or for the other bands that you're doing too?
I keep things pretty close to the same, and I've been thinking about maybe adding another crash. But I haven't done it.
Are you using like same size, like the drums themselves, like same kit? Yeah, using different
like
sizes?
19. I typically lean towards bigger crashes. I love the 19A and 19 and 28 customs. Not that they particularly sound great. It's just that I know what they are at this point because I've been using them for years. To be honest, I'm not in love with them, but it's just like, I know what I'm getting out of those. Would I rock an 18? Of course. I don't think I'd go any smaller than an 18 for a crash, to be honest. With with Bottlerocket, you need a ping ride.
Yeah.
For sure.
22-inch A ping ride. I have a European set of cymbals that I like to take out. I've replaced the ping ride with a 22-inch Rhythmist. It's the Stuart Copeland signature ride.
Oh, I got that's Stuart's autograph right behind me.
Oh yeah, that's rad. Yeah, killer signature snare too if you ever find one. I love how he did the die cast on the top and the triple flange on the bottom. But yeah, I got a smoking deal on it, and that's why I have it. And it's got a killer bell on it. I don't know what I think about the resonant side of it, like for a fast eighth notes on it. I don't know if it really cuts through the way I like, but the bell on it is really cool.
See, this is the shit I live for. I love hearing this, man. Like this, like little. I love it.
A 14A customs with Bottlerocket, but up until recently, Old Wives was a 3-piece. Now we're a 4-piece again. I have these killer 15-inch Avitas Zildjians that I absolutely fucking love them.
How do you like? Do you find them louder in comparison to the 14s, or just
15?
a different? Yeah,
no, not at all. Not these ones, anyways. I find that it's just a slight dip in brightness.
Okay.
I don't find them louder. That's for sure. I find them just the tone is a little bit deeper, a little darker. With King's Thief, that's the only band I really don't need a ping ride with. So I typically use like it's a K22 custom. It's a washy cymbal. Basically, with King's Thief, it's those two crashes and another crash. I use the bell on it a little bit, and I use the same 15-inch Avitas hats.
Nice. What about the kit?
To be honest, cymbal-wise, other than hats, like I love A custom 14s, and those 15s are really killer. I've never had a ride that I'm fucking fully stoked on. I don't know if you guys had.
No, I have
A customs. I could give a shit what they are, to be honest. Yeah. I would never record with them. Put it that way.
Yeah. I have a 20-inch dark K ride that's like the go-to. It's very versatile. I do have a 20-inch or 22 dark K custom that I use as a crash,
Yeah.
which is nice. But oh, that's cool. What about the kit, the drums themselves?
Up until recently, I've had with Bottlerocket's got a kit in the States by his name's Jesse. He makes Oakfist drums. I'm hoping I'm going to make another kit with him. We haven't really decided what we're doing yet. That kit, the maple shell with reinforcement rings.
Okay.
It was a 24, 13, 16. It was good. I think it's just time to change it up. At home, I've got, man, my kits at home fucking rule. I love my kits at home. I have a DW Collectors. It's the Tangerine Dream, I call it.
Oh, I love that.
Orange Sparkle.
I used to have one.
Yeah, it's a 24, 18, 13, 9, 16, 16. Same deal, maple shells with reinforcement rings. I recently bought a Ludwig 40th anniversary purple sparkle Vista Light. The new Vista Lights that kit's probably one of the most fun kits to play. It's bouncy. The kick drum is louder than fuck. Like, it is crazy awesome. And it's a 22, 18, 12, 9, 16, 16. But it sounds like thunder. It is awesome.
Dude,
yeah.
The trouble that I would get into, and I'm sure Matt, if I worked in a drum shop.
Oh yeah.
The funny thing is, I had a late 70s Blue Vista, and I thought that kit sounded like shit. Like, I tried to fix it up. It just, I was like, fuck, Vista lights suck.
Are you talking in the room or under mics or both? Just
period.
Together?
I could not get a good tone out of them. Maybe it wasn't the right heads. I don't know. But these newer, more modern Vista lights are so fucking fun to play. Holy shit.
Do you do any recording at home on those kits?
The DW kit gets recorded a lot, and not just by me. It's a very sought after kit in town. I just lent it to Strike Anywhere.
Nice.
They were in town for a couple benefit shows. Sean Sellers from Good Riddance has had that kit across Canada. I've lent it to Mad Caddies. That kit is it's gold. Like, it's old. I would say it's over 20 years old now. It was one of the first major purchases I made.
Do you have do you record yourself? Do you do any of that part of it?
Yeah, I'm terrible at it. I have
me too.
Moto 8 Pre that I like with this computer, and I have a full version of Studio One by Presonus. That was given to me. I can record shit, no problem. And my editing is getting better. I have no idea about anything else. Cody in Old Wives, he's our newest dude. He does it. He did the new King Thief record. He did the last Wives record. He's very good at producing. He's kind of showed me a couple hints here and there. If I spend some more time with him, I'd probably get a little bit better at it. But
yeah, the editing part's what's hard for me, especially getting a sound in a file, not too hard. Editing, especially drums, are hard because you got cymbals going, and it's not like a guitar. There's nothing. It's just punch in, easy.
Like, you just do it over, right? You just play another take. And
we've got it the hardest.
Yeah. And you got to nudge a lot of stuff when you do another take, right? It's not just like it's this one track that you're working. You got to nudge everything, and I haven't done it enough. I'd like to.
It is difficult for sure, but it's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'd say, it's been about an hour or so. You want to say anything about the new record that's coming out?
Yeah, we recorded 18 songs. I think 14 are going on an album. The other 4 we're going to save for either an EP or a 7-inch or something like that. I would say it's our most experimental thing that we've tried. like I said, Miguel's wrote 4 songs on this one. Ray and Cody wrote the rest. Miguel makes his vocal debut on this one.
Nice.
Pretty interesting. Yeah. He's got a song about tacos. Pretty good.
I think he was. I think he used to live around me. I don't know if he was born and raised there, but I know he used to live in a town called Waxahachie. I could be wrong, but that's the next town from me that shares a border with the town I'm in. And he used to come to see my bands play back in the '90s and early 2000s, but I guess he moved away. And some of my friends and cousins were friends of his.
Yeah.
That's cool. Do you have any songs that you're bringing to the table? Do you write at all?
No, I've tried. I don't know. It's a classic joke, right? Like, oh my God, the drummer brought a song to the table. It's like, I've tried. I've written lyrics before, and I've looked back on them. I'm like, oh my God, what the fuck? Thank God I didn't read. I didn't do that. It's like, yeah. Like, I'll stick to drumming. Like,
yeah, and I'll look at a songwriter, and especially in punk rock. I was talking to my wife today. I was like, I was listening to Chicks Dig It, and there's a song called I Hate Basketball, and I was like, you can just write a song about anything you want, and nobody, Have you
heard that song? Have you really heard that song? The song's pretty serious, actually.
I know. I was looking at the lyrics today.
Oh, it's pretty hardcore.
I know. I love that though.
I go way back with those guys. Those guys rule. They're just a couple hours down the road.
Oh yeah, I know they're a Canadian band. One of my favorites for sure.
Yeah.
But no, you're right. I was looking at the lyrics today, and I was actually doing some research on you, and my ADHD took over, and I'm listening to Chicks Dig It all of a sudden. So you know how that goes.
That's a good choice.
For sure. But yeah, man, we'll let you get back to your evening, and I really appreciate you talking with us.
Thanks for having me, guys. That was awesome. It blew by. I just looked at the time. I'm like, oh shit, really?
Yeah, I've been keeping track of the time.
If you don't mind, Darren, are you in a huge rush to? Are either of you guys?
I'm not in a huge rush. I got a jam in about an hour and change, but
okay.
Time. Yeah.
Well, if you don't, Matt, it was cool with you if I ask just like another.
Oh, go for it. Yeah.
What I was curious about is going back live and playing the songs that were written with Brandon. So with us, do you try to stick like super close to those drum parts, or do you kind of, as time goes on, you take a little bit more liberty with the fills and stuff like that? Because I know what I've noticed, I've seen you guys live with both drummers, is you tend to stick a little bit more to the original tempos of the songs, where Brandon was just like, I couldn't believe how fast he was playing that stuff. So like, do you kind of try to stick more with his parts, or you kind of do your own thing, or?
A couple things there. Like, typically a Bottlerocket show is about an hour long.
Mm-hmm.
There's usually 3 stops in that hour. So we will rip through about 8-9 songs in a row. We'll do that again, and then we'll see what's left at the end, and we'll just keep playing. So we want to fit in. Our mentality for playing is we want to fit in as much as we can without going overboard, like not fucking breakneck speed. So the tempo thing is we try to keep that up, but also keep it so it's not too crazy. Over the last little while, I've kind of taken a little bit of liberty with Brandon songs, but for the most part, I've been trying to play them to Brandon specs.
Right.
But lately, I've been adding a couple things in, and no one said anything yet. So I'm gonna keep doing it until Obviously, I'm not gonna freaking rip a goddamn fucking solo over something that's never been there before or anything like that. But
right,
a little bit more my thing.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool, man. It's nice to hear that, like, you're kind of trying to do your own thing, but still staying respectful to the parts.
For instance, radio, I ain't fucking touching that. The radio's perfect the way it is.
Yep.
But nothing else matters. I'll do some shit.
Yep. That's awesome. And then do you have tips for people with like endurance? I've noticed it. To me, it seemed like from the Covers record to the last one that I can't believe I'm blanking on the last. What was the last record? Succession.
Succession.
Yeah, it seemed like you settled a little bit more, if that makes any sense. I don't know the right way to say it.
Yeah, it was a nerve thing, and like what kind of toes am I allowed to step on, or if I'm not allowed to at all. Yeah, kind of just knowing your place.
Right.
The endurance thing, I'll admit, like basically we played 3 shows together before our first major tour, which was Warped Tour 2016. So we got those shows out of the way, which went relatively pretty good. And then all of a sudden we were on this like long ass Warped Tour, like we were playing every day, and I was like, oh fuck, I've never done that. I've never been on the road for six weeks. I've been on the road for a few weeks. And we sucked. We were terrible out of the gate. I would say the first week of Warped Tour, we were downright awful. I couldn't keep up. Endurance wise, I was drained. I couldn't play. There was no stops. I was like, really? This is what the fuck this is about? I'm like, I'm fucking dying here. The heat was insane. Like, as a Canadian, I've never felt that.
Warped Tours are always hot.
Yeah, like we played the first night, I think it was with Bowling for Soup, where it was a real big fish in Dallas. It was the pre-Warped Tour party, and it was like indoors, and it was awesome. It was some place called the Bomb Shelter, and fully air conditioned, fucking sold out. Everybody, it was awesome. The next day was outside in Dallas, and I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?"
That's where I am. It's so hot.
God. And like, Warped Tour sets are 30 to 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like wringing out shirts. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, and like, suck. And then we played San Antonio. It was a little bit better. And then we'd play somewhere else. It was suck. Oh, that was pretty good. And then Nashville came around. And I think that was like day 10. And I think I cried. I think I got off stage and cried. It was that fucking bad. It was so fucking bad. And Ray was like, "Hey man, it'll get better." But I think even himself, he was like, "Oh man, what did we get ourselves into with this dude?" Like, I don't
think people realize. I mean, I guess they do, but it's easy to kind of. Drummers have such a hard job, like a very physical job. We're using everything, and we're putting all of our energy into these songs, and then you got the heat. And then when people are watching you play faster, you're more into it.
Faster. I'm already a pretty over the top drummer. Like if anyone see me play, I'm a fucking idiot up there half the time. It's just I get lost in the moment or whatever.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you got to kind of reel it in and like, okay, man, you got to play the song. Like you got to play 1,000,000 notes. You got to like, you better have some reserve back there, or you're not going to get through. And that's exactly what's happening on these first few shows, because it was such breakneck that we were going through it and there was no breaks. And we're just trying to like show everybody how many songs we could fit in and how fast we could play. And it was awful.
I travel with a fan now.
And then by the end of the Warped Tour, we were a band. Like we were like, hey, we got this. Like it was good by then. It sucks that it took Warped Tour to like, cut our teeth and become that, but it worked.
Yeah, dude, that was such a fucking cool story, man. Thank you for sharing that with us. That was one that I think I would have regretted if I didn't get that question out, and just to hear that made it.
Yeah, like honestly, I thought I was goner. Like it was not going well, and like, you know what? And like I'll admit, like I'm new to the game, new to the scene. Like me and Ray were partying our dicks off. Like imagine partying your dicks off till 3-4 o'clock in the morning, and then finding out, and the Warped Tour thing is with the whole pick the straw, or like you find out when you're playing them. That's true. So like,
and then using the straw again later to party your dick off.
Yeah, you might wake up in the morning and go, "Oh God, thank God we don't play till 5. Ooh, thank God I go back to bed." Or it might be like, "Oh fuck, we play in half an hour." Like, oh man, shit! Like,
and you're dehydrated from all the alcohol.
Yeah, and like like I said, I was new to it. It's like, fuck, this is fun. This is awesome. Yeah, this is what everything I wanted to be. Party animal. And then after a while, you're just like, no, it's you got a job to do. You got
hard work.
You got to fucking reel it in. Like, don't be a dumbass. people came out to watch you. Don't take it for granted. You kind of learn your lesson pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have certain exercises you do before a show, stretches
Absolutely.
or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm an old motherfucker now, so I got to stretch. I usually got this 10-minute thing. You got the dumb clap thing,
Oh yeah,
It works so well though. So well.
It does. It stretches your forearms. And like the guys give me a hard time because I'm clapping around in the green room. They're like, "Can you knock it the fuck off already?" Like you look like an idiot for one. For two, that's annoying as hell. But I need it. And I got all kinds of stretches and stuff like that. Just kind of, I'll jump up and down for a minute, just kind of get things going. Pull the pulls against the wall, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Do you have a
I
pad?
stretch everything. Yeah, legs, arms, as limber as I can because I'm starting to feel it for the first time. Like I'm 47. I'm like, yeah, things are getting out of place. Things are sore the next morning.
Oh yeah, dude.
Same here, man. I'm almost 45, and I've been getting Charlie horses when I play. So people say pickle juice is good. Carry some pickle juice with you.
Bananas,
yeah.
Bananas, yeah. Bananas.
So the thing with bananas is no one told me you're supposed to eat them. So
what have you been doing with them?
My drum throne was not comfortable for a while. We'll put it that way. Maybe we should end it with a banana in the ass joke. But
there it is.
Well, I was gonna say, man, before I came down here, this could be a segment that we could work in. I asked my middle and my youngest daughter if they had any questions for you. So I think maybe we could end it with questions from my kids. So my middle daughter wants to know: have you ever vomited on stage?
On stage? Kind of. Yeah, I'll say yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
And my youngest
into a beer pitcher that was a third full, and so let's just say splashback. We'll say that. Yeah.
And my 7-year-old, there's two questions. These you're gonna take a minute to think about them. Do you eat food, Darren?
I eat way too much food. Yes.
Okay. And so I told her this was a podcast about drumming. She wants to know what you do for a living.
What I do for a living? The funny thing is, I still do need a job. Like Bottlerocket just doesn't cut it. Like we don't tour enough. So when I'm home, I sell drums.
So that's awesome. Still,
I'm
drum related.
Living the dream.
Drum guy. Like if you want to know the thread on a fucking pearl cymbal stand, I can tell you what wing nut you need or all that bullshit. I've been doing it since 2008.
Wow.
So I lots of useless knowledge I'll probably have forever, but I don't mind it. It's keeps me entertained. I get to see a lot of cool gear. My old store I used to work with used to send me out to NAMM all the time, the trade show.
I was just about to ask you if you went this year.
No, I didn't go. I haven't been in a long time, but I went to 3 or 4 of them. They're kind of weird. I don't know. I don't miss them. That's for sure.
I heard Corey Feldman was there this year. So.
Oh shit. Yeah. The back drum, the hall. I think it's like Hall D is usually where all the drum companies are, and it's a fucking nightmare, even for drummers. It's just like it's fucking guys doing drum solos like for nonstop.
It's like Guitar Center on crack.
Oh my god! And
well, to be fair, Guitar Center is already Guitar Center on crack.
Yeah, yeah. It's just like you can't even look at a drum. After a while, you're just like, I got such a fucking pounding headache. I don't even give a shit anymore.
Yeah,
it's just like whatever. Yeah.
Well, I guess on that note, man, we'll let you go. I'd love to have you come back another time, maybe if you want to
come back. Like I feel like we just scratched the surface.
Dude,
right.
I mean, I'm good to keep going. I know you got to get to practice, so I don't want to make.
I unfortunately got to cut it.
Awesome, dude.
But yeah, man, it was fun. I hope we get to do it again sometime. It'd be rad.
For sure.
Love it, man. Thank you so much for your time, and it definitely do.
Oh, one final question.
Yes.
What's the temperature where you're at right now? What kind of weather you got?
Matt, you want to go first, you jerk?
This will be in Fahrenheit. So right now it is 66 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
It was around
Christian?
almost 80 today.
Okay.
We are 4. We're 4 right now.
Okay. Okay. I'm not. I was going to brag how cold it was, but 4 is pretty cold. We're at -11. That's Fahrenheit.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh.
But today was one of the coldest days we've had in a long time, and I was like, God damn it, these guys won't believe how cold it is. But 4 is pretty close.
Yeah.
We're upstate New York, so
I'm
we're
sweating.
my wife.
Did you get a big snowstorm?
Yeah, nothing.
Yeah,
I mean, it wasn't too crazy.
We've got insane snow. Like
My-
fucked up.
My wife grew up in Malone, New York. Are you familiar? It's the Canadian border.
Yeah.
So it's like the last part of New York before you're at the Canadian border. So and then we're 3 hours south from there. So we're like right in the middle. Have you played Albany, New York before?
No, I'm heading up there soon. I don't know exactly where, but we're on that dropkick tour. Dropkick
really?
is Bottlerocket. Yeah, we're first date's Huntington. I don't know where that is.
Huntington, New York. Yeah, I'm not too sure.
I'm gonna break out Google Earth now.
But
Yeah, like that tour starts on the 26th. Yeah, I'm just trying to take a look here real quick. Yeah, we're in Huntington on the 26th and then Washington, D.C. on the 27th.
oh wow,
But yeah,
Oh.
it's Bottlerocket Menzinger's dropkick.
really? Yeah.
Yeah, if you can make it out to any of those, just let me know. I'll put you on the guest list.
Oh, awesome, dude. Yeah, my wife is not. I mean, she love like the Menzingers are like her favorite. So
Oh, yeah.
if I mention them, she'll be psyched. But well, I think for us the biggest challenge is finding a sitter to put
Yeah, sitter.
three
Yeah.
kids to bed. That gets a little.
Yeah, it might get a little hairy.
Yeah, it's all right. But yeah, dude, I'd love to have you back, and I would oddly be into hearing the thread count on all those cymbal stands. I love all that stuff. So
Yeah, we need to
Well,
nerd
dude,
out.
have a good practice, man. Thanks again.
Yeah,
And it
dude,
really,
thanks for having me again. Let's do it again.
yeah, you made it easy, dude. It
Later
was
down
like,
the road. Yeah.
felt like talking to an old friend, man. So we appreciate that. So
I'm sure you guys will be through Dallas and play at Three Links.
Oh yeah. It's
I mean,
happening next year, or this
I've seen
year.
you guys there so many times.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, we'll have to have a beer or something.
Yep, I'll be there.
all right,
Rad,
Tim.
dude.
It's good talking to you, man. Thank you so much.
All right, have a good night, guys.
All right, but later.
Bye.
Bye.